Hey guys, forgive the hair in a ponytail and the no makeup and the workout gear. I was just about to make dinner and it's one of my favorite recipes, and I realized it had been forever since I shared a cooking video with you. It's called Sunday Slow Cooker Buffalo Chicken, and it's from slenderkitchen.com, and I used to eat this all the time when I was just eating low carb, even before surgery. Since surgery, I've had a few reflux issues, so at the beginning I couldn't really tolerate anything spicy. So this is actually going to be the first time in quite a while that I've made this, but it's delicious. It's one of my favorite things, and it's really easy. So if you ever get home and you have some chicken and some basic veggies and you don't know what to do with it in your house, if you're the kind of person who always has some Frank's Red Hot of various iterations in your house, then you can throw this together really easily. Okay, so let me start with this. First thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the chicken breast. So it calls for 2 pounds of chicken breast. That's about a kilo, you Aussies. And we're just going to, can you see me over here if I do this? I can't tell. Let's see. Kinda. There we go. Okay. So we're going to take this chicken, and I've already got my slow cooker preheated, so you might hear a little noise. No, I guess not. Good. Alright, so I'm sticking my chicken in here. You don't really need this to preheat your slow cooker. Mine beeps at me if you turn it on and then don't do anything with it. So, okay. And now, add the chicken breast whole garlic. So it calls for 2 cloves of garlic. Sticking those in there. And whole celery ribs. 2 whole celery ribs I've already washed. This is just like a chuck it and go recipe. Okay, it calls for 2 whole carrots, but we got like the world's biggest freaking carrot from our grocery store this time. So I'm just going to cut this in half, I guess. Maybe quarters. Because otherwise, that's just crazy. You know what? Alright, so my carrot's in. It calls for onion, and it just calls for 1 onion quartered. We got some really tiny onions from our grocery this time, so I'm using 1.5 small ones. But we love onion anyway. And chicken broth, 1.5 cups of low sodium chicken broth. We use the continental stock pots, the salt reduced. I actually need to be adding more salt to my diet, so maybe I need to get rid of the salt reduced. But that's what this recipe calls for, so I'm using it. And it calls for 1.5 cups of chicken broth, so I added that stock pot in. It usually makes 2 cups of chicken broth, but so the broth will be a little stronger because I'm only using 1.5 cups of water, but that's okay. There's plenty of juice in there, or there will be from the chicken. So, all right. And that's literally, oh, salt and pepper. I'm just using kosher salt just because I like it in some recipes like this. So kosher salt, and using some cracked black pepper. I like pepper, so I use plenty. And I'll probably go back and add more later. I don't know. We'll see how that tastes. And stick the lid on it. Leave it for 4 hours. That's it for the first part. And then after I've done that, I'll show you what else to do. It's, like I said, it's really easy. Hey guys, I almost forgot to start the video again for the second part. So what I've done so far is I'm pulling all the veggies out of the soup, the liquid. The recipe actually says throw them away along with most of the liquid. You can totally do that. My husband actually really likes this as a chicken soup, so I actually preserve the liquid and all the veggies. Pull the veggies out first. I'm pulling the, well, at least the big clumps in them. And now I'm pulling the chicken out. It's just like literally falling apart as I'm trying to get it. It's falling into pieces, which is very good. That's what we want, obviously. It's been 4 hours on high. And so, falling apart. Trying to spear whole breasts, and that just, other than that one breast, it actually came easily. It's not happening. Ah! At least you get a little entertainment with your cooking video this time, right? Alright. So now I've got all the chicken breasts in there. And now I'm going to take this and very carefully dump this into the container with the veggies. There we go. Got a nice little soup there. Now, I'm gonna put the chicken back in the crock pot, along with a third of a cup of liquid, because that's what they said to maintain with the chicken. So I'm going to grab a third of the cup here and just snag it out of my soup. Just a little bit more. There we go. Now I'm going to shred the chicken. Okay, so now that I've got shredded chicken, I'm going to add, I actually wanted a tablespoon of salted butter. All we have is lower pack unsalted, so that'll do a pinch. Butter is optional, you guys. The recipe says so. I include it. We like butter in this house, and we're not afraid of fat. But obviously it does add calories, so if you really need to make sure that this recipe stays low calorie, obviously, or if you are very carefully avoiding fat, obviously you can leave the butter out of this recipe. Actually calls for 2 tablespoons, so I'm going to do the best I can, because we may not have quite enough, but it'll be close enough. I mean, I love eating butter, but scraping it out with my fingers, not so much. Okay. So, get the soup back here out of the way for me. Yeah, you can use regular Frank's Red Hot. It just calls for buffalo sauce. I'm using wing sauce just because we have some, and I thought that would be nice. So it calls for a half a cup. Okay. It's a nice amount of hot sauce, but there's a lot of chicken in here, so half a cup it is. This is still on warm, by the way. I left it on warm when it hit that after it finished cooking. Now I think, let me just double check the recipe because it's been a while since I made it. Yeah. Add the buffalo sauce and butter, let cook 15 more minutes. All right, perfect. So I'm just going to stir this around a tiny bit because I want all the chicken to get reasonably coated here. And the butter to get nice and melty and all over everything. And once I've done that, I'm going to throw the lid back on it. Good enough. Okay. Yum. Throw the lid back on it. Ooh. Got a nice kick to it. And so it only needs 15 minutes. So I'm just going to start it. Well, this one won't let me set it for 15 minutes. So, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and start it and just set it on here. And when it's done, I'll show you how I serve it. So the timer just went off. That's what it looks like. Doesn't it look absolutely delicious? Skeptical husband just walked in. I'm making a video here. Making a video. And we're serving it with some blue Stilton, some blue cheese. It'll be delicious. All right, guys, have a good night. I'll talk to you soon.